Hello, welcome to episode 190 of Learn, Do, Become Radio. I'm April Perry, and today I just want to encourage you to do a brief exercise to help identify what fuels you and what drains you. I want to keep this simple because I'd prefer you use time to actually make your list than listening to me talking about it, but I want to explain why it's important, how I did it, and then what I'm going to do with the list. So first of all, why it's important. A lot of us do things that drain us, not because we're just being part of a family or part of a community and, being helpful, but because we believe that our needs and our health and our time for replenishment isn't really that important. And we become people who are very unhealthy because we care and we're trying to change the world. Is that a very general statement? I've been really listening to a lot of videos and a book by Dr. Gabor Mate. His book that I'm reading right now is called When the Body Says No. I think I've mentioned it a couple times before. And it kind of feels like a sad book, but it's been very eye-opening to me. And some of the YouTube videos I've watched about his work have also been really helpful. I'll include some links on the show notes page. But he's helping me to understand that a lot of people who end up with chronic illness and who just experience a lot of physical pain or become incapacitated have that happen to them because of some of their personality traits. And he shares example after example after example of people who want to either protect family members from consequences or, negative issues, or they feel that it's their role to step in and to, save people or to accommodate everyone or to always bear the burdens of other people's decisions on their own shoulders. And as I have been listening to this, I realized this really has been one of my issues for a lot of my life. In fact, I was talking with Eric the other day and I just said, there are so many things that I nod my head and say yes to that I really don't want to do. And I'm not talking about things like, changing a diaper or, getting a car repaired or helping a friend. I don't think about that at all. I think there's life and there's service and there's compassion and love and there's sacrifice and all those things that are great. But as I stepped back and looked at the bigger picture of my life, particularly here at Learn, Do, Become, in behind the scenes, you guys don't see the behind the scenes part, but there's a lot of technical stuff and coaching experiences and decision making and things that go on that impact me and the community, but that just aren't out in the front. And as I looked at all of that, I just realized I've just been going along doing what everyone expects of me or tells me to do or says is the right way, and it's totally been draining me. So the reason why it's important is because it literally can help you to shape your life. Okay, so now I just want to share a little bit about how I did it, like what the process was. I got out a very fancy spiral-bound notebook, the kind that cost like 50 cents. And I opened it and I wrote on one side what fuels me and on the other side what drains me. Now, I specifically did this one for Learn, Do, Become, for my behind-the-scenes work. But you could do this for your family, you could do this for your volunteer work, you could do this for your interpersonal, work, whatever it is. And then I went and sat alone and I did some very introspective, work where I actually thought through, okay, who are the people I've worked with, the conferences I've attended, the technical work that I do, the projects that I work on, the initiatives I take, the interactions I have. I went through all of it. And I wrote down, these are the experiences over the past, 10 plus years that have really fueled me. These are the things I love. Like, Eric, I don't hate my work. I love my work. But this is the part of my work that I love. And then on the side where it said what drains me, I actually did some honest thinking because it's even hard for me to admit sometimes what drains me because I think, well, it shouldn't drain me. Well, I bet this is good for me. I bet I should do this. People might like me better if I do this or whatever. But I actually wrote down what drains me honestly, where I might feel nervous that people might disapprove of this list, but I need to be really honest with myself. What is it that drains me? And so I made the list, and it was quite an emotional process, in all honesty. And it made my brain, kind of go a little bit haywire because I felt nervous about putting it into writing. But when I did that, fuels me, drains me, oh my goodness, it was just so clear. Okay, now what am I going to do with it? What would you do with yours? Well, first of all, I'm actually taking some time this week. I'm going to another conference. So when I go to the conference, as I'm recording this, I'm going to be publishing this a little later. But I am taking that with me. And as I go into this conference, I'm going to be filtering everything through what fuels me, what drains me. I'm not taking on more projects that drain me. I'm going to figure out how to take what fuels me and what fuels the people around us. I want everyone on our team to be fueled. I don't want anyone drained. I want to figure out, how do we collaborate and how do we align together to create the very best thing that we can possibly create appropriately with our time and energy. And so I'm going to be using that filter as a filter. I'm also making some decisions to cut a lot of things out of my life. Eric and I talked about it, and we decided there are certain events and conferences I'm just not going to go to anymore. They drain me. I don't like them. And I always go out of obligation. So I'm not going anymore. And so he was buying a ticket, or he was getting tickets. And I said, just don't buy me one. I'm not going to go. And that, for me, that was the hardest thing for me to say, because I feel such a love for everyone here at Learn, Do, Become. And I feel such a responsibility to continue to learn and be a good leader. But I'm going to find other ways to learn and grow. And so not only has that list now become a great filter I can use, but it's helping me to sit down. I mean, Eric is my, primary confidant, and we, co-founded Learn to Become, and we're building a family and a life together. So he's the one I talk to about most of these decisions. But you thinking about your fuels versus drains list, you could take that to the people closest to you, the person closest to you. You could sit down with your higher power, have a discussion. What do I need to remove? What do I need to add? What do I need to figure out? But having that as a discussion piece has been so helpful, because now, as Eric and I are talking, I can say, well, look at this list. I've done a lot of thinking, and here's what I feel. And then he's like, okay, this is really helpful, because last thing he wants to do is go force me to do something I hate. But I don't love traveling a lot, especially for work. I like to work from home. I like to be with my family. I like to travel as needed. I will be creative and industrious, and I will do things from home or from my home base, so I don't need to travel. Some people love traveling, great, but this for me, it just drains me so much. So, okay, I'm going to stop talking about me. I want you to just set aside some time, even, 15 minutes. Get out a sheet of paper or just a digital note, start writing it. What fuels me? What drains me? Then use that as your filter and use it to start some conversations with the people in your life who you care about. Just try it and then tell me what you think. If you think of a better way to do it, also let me know, because I'm here to learn. I'm sharing this because I just want to bring you a little bit into my life. Sometimes I'm hesitant to share, where I'm weak or where I'm learning, but then I just think that's the whole point of Learn to Become, is that I'm still learning. So yeah, if you have found other ways to evaluate, ways that even a story where you've made a decision and chosen to do something creatively so that you can do more of what fuels you, less of what drains you, maybe systems you put in place, maybe, some of the hard decisions that you had to make in dealing with real life, I would love to hear it. I think our community would as well. So you can come to learndobecome.com/episode 190. As an FYI, some of the things that fuel me are this podcast and emailing you. So you can sign up, learndobecome.com/inspiration if you're not yet on our email list. And I love our STEP program so much. And I love our Arisers and our Arise membership. So those are the things that really fuel me. And doing some social media and videos, I'm getting more comfortable with that. But it does fuel me to just be able to encourage you. So if you want to join in and be part of the things that our whole team is very passionate about, and specifically what I would love to do to be able to help your life feel lighter, then come to the show notes page. I'll have a link of those things. And then I am going to be making some decisions, and I'm actually feeling pretty excited about it, because then you start waking up feeling more hopeful when you realize that you are the architect of your life and you can communicate with the master architect to help you create the life you can't wait to wake up and live. All right, that's all for today. Have an amazing week, and we'll see you soon at learndobecome.com.